Still getting 50 viewers? Okay. Not bad. 50 is the new 100. 50 is the new 100. Happy Goyam won 2,300 on Arsenal versus Chelsea. All I need is, yeah, this guy's good at gambling, man. God bless. Good for you. This guy's a better gambler than everyone in the chat. He just always wins. Nicely done, man. Just remember, Happy Goyam, no matter how much you win, if you play long enough, the house always wins. So I know you're doing very well right now gambling, and hopefully it continues, but the one time you put all your money on Chelsea, they're gonna lose. So just keep doing little singles. Bottom could be a penny. Or what? Dogecoin? No. Doge BTC is holding up very well. Now, if this thing ends up capitulating, then you got a problem. Which, you know, you do have a wick down here. You do have a wick down there, man. It could be pretty ugly. But you can see the downtrend is very much intact. Litecoin is doing the same thing. I'm pretty sure Litecoin has the same exact downtrend. Yeah, Litecoin has a big wick too, man. Bottom for Doge is 9 cents. I mean, if you believe we're still in a bull market, it could be. If it's a bear market, it should go back to 5 cents. Because you can see this uptrend is now holding. So once you break this uptrend, you would pretty much come all the way back down here. But I think, oh, you didn't have an uptrend last time. Oh yeah, you did. It just, you had an uptrend until it broke. That's why we can't see the uptrend. But like this, and once you broke the uptrend, that was it. So we're right here. There's also never been a bottom without a big wick, so it can be looked at both ways. What do you mean by that? The BTC pair? There was no wick here. That was the bottom. Yeah, I'm not sure I follow you. There was no wick here or here. You've actually never bottomed on a wick. Actually, now that you mention that, you've actually never bottomed on a wick. And even here, you can see there was a big wick and then you came down again. I think wicks are short-term bottoms, but you've never actually bottomed on a wick. Like just a solo big wick, you know? Like you would argue that this is a wick, but you made a new low on the wick. You already had the candles here. This, you had a big wick, Could have been the bottom, but it wasn't. So for us, even here, you stayed down here. You've never just had a big wick and then shot right back up without coming back down. So for Doge, the fact that Doge has this monster wick, you've never had a wick and not gone back down there. It's never happened. You know, maybe even it takes a little while. Like you put this wick in December and you didn't come back down until February, but you still came back down. So it's like, if you could argue that this was a wick, sure. In a big bull market, technically that was a wick. So that was the first time. Could even argue 2 times. But the big difference is you're moving up. You know? We're going down now. So I guess 2 out of however many times. If you want to make the bet, that's up to you. But as far as a bottom in a downtrend, you've never put a bottom in without filling the wick. So it is entirely possible the Doge comes down here, unfortunately. Which, the reason why that's unfortunate is because it might go below 5 cents if that happens. Which tells me that it could be the Doge pumps kind of like 2022, right? And then Doge BTC comes down to fill this wick at a later time. There's no guarantees that it has to go down here in the bear market, but at some point it has to go down there. So like maybe if we get a relief rally, Doge BTC spikes up and then Bitcoin crashes, and then as the bull run starts for Bitcoin, Doge BTC comes down. Because most of the selling took place in the bull market. So I think for Doge, the best scenario would be it just goes like this. We spike up and then it goes down. Which, if the price of Bitcoin falls in here, then the Doge USD price would just go like this. Like, kind of wither away. Like, kind of this. Bitcoin Bajan for 10 says, I need hopium. Can AOIZ go to $3 in a hypothetical alt season? I appreciate the 10. Yeah, this coin is done, man. Do keep in mind that this coin in the bull market did do a 100x. So it's very likely that it's over. I mean, yeah, you can pretty much see that this coin went from $1 to 1 cent back to $1. Pretty gnarly if you think about it. But the top is in for this coin, man. So I'm gonna say no. If we got a hypothetical alt season and Bitcoin went to 150K, you would probably be lucky to get a 786 retracement at 77 cents, and then it would go down. But again, that's an alt season that we might not even get because it's already signaling that the bear market started, and you've never had alt season in a bear market. But for your question for hopium, I don't think you can go to $3. No. I think Phantom had a chart like this where you get a big bounce, which something like this is not impossible if we get that big ass bounce for Bitcoin. But I mean, you could just look at the last bear market. Similar structure, actually, ironically. Look, you can see that you put a low in and then Bitcoin had that big bounce to the moving average, and this exact coin spiked by 100%. So if we put the bottom in for Bitcoin and we're going to get a bullish retracement over the next 2 months, this coin could spike up to 27 cents, which would again be the same exact move, which I bet you this is the 382. Yeah, look at this dude. So $3, I'll have to say no. Could you get a retracement to 27 cents? Yes, you definitely could. Could you get lucky and get a 618 retracement to 50 cents? Sure. Now, if Bitcoin enters a bull market and we get back over all of the bull market indicators that have been broken, then we'll talk about that coin. But the realistic expectation for that coin is the top is already in. And if you're lucky, you'll get a 60-cent retracement. Sorry, 50-cent retracement. But more realistically, it's probably going to be 27 cents if you even get the retracement. And then you would go down. Because you could just see the structure is almost the exact same. So it's doing the same exact thing. But I appreciate the 10, man. I appreciate the 10. It's going to be a very critical 2 months. Because if we can hold here and not do anything, obviously that would be your chance to make a new all-time high. But if we don't make a new all-time high, then you know where we are, and you know that this is next. So it looks like 70 days is the sweet spot. So we're already at 14 days. Well, I guess we're only at 7 days, but well, tomorrow will be 14 days. So if I had to guess, if the price of Bitcoin did not make a new all-time high by the end of February, then we're about to go straight down, because that's what always happens. So, I mean, you could just see it, right? It's not even like I'm making shit up. You broke the moving average, you stayed down here for 78 days, and then you went straight down. It's a little more than, it's more like 90 days, but after 77 days, the pumping was done. Same thing here. After 70 days, the pumping was done. Then you went straight down. So we're probably going to get some jittery price action here. But if it comes to February and we're still below 100,000, the pumping is probably done. And then the next thing is this, where we go right down to 50,000. Which by the time that happens, it would now be May or June. So the summer comes, you enjoy the summer. And then when the summer ends, the bull market starts. Well, technically you'd have one more bearish month, but nobody gives a shit about that. It's going to go quick, trust me. The reason why I think it's going to go quick is because we just sat through 3 bear markets. 2023 was bearish, 2024 was bearish, and 2025 was bearish. So to sit through another bearish year when Bitcoin is actually bearish, it should be fairly easy. I didn't realize you were talking about the LTC pair. Because in the dollar price, bull run usually follows a big wick down. Well, I was looking at Dogecoin. I wasn't looking at Litecoin. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Here there was 2 wicks. Here there was a wick. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. I'm not trying to scare you, but how do we know the price doesn't come down here and fill the wicks? You know, I mean, here you could definitely say the wick was the bottom. It was a double bottom, which is why I don't think we can kind of sweep that under the rug. Like, you've never bottomed on just one wick. You could say this bottomed on a wick, but this was the bottom down here. You already had a lower low. But here you can see every time you put a wick in, you made another lower low after that. Which, again, I mean, you can see there's a big ass wick here. There's a good chance you're going to go down there. $75. But what I'm saying is, yes, this was definitely the bottom, but it didn't really go anywhere. So it's almost like now that we're starting to break down, the price is going to gravitate towards that wick, which it very well may be the case where this is what's going to happen. But in 2022, Litecoin and Dogecoin did the same thing where they bounced at the capitulation, but there was no wick here. It was a candle. We have a wick this time. Same. It's almost the same thing as this. You put a big wick, you spiked up, and then came back down. We put the big wick, we spiked up, and now it's coming back down. So this could be the bottom. You just might have to go down there again. Which, if that happens, that's a 40% decline. Which, if that happens as Bitcoin falls by 40%, I mean, that's not going to be good. But again, I do have to continue to reiterate that it doesn't have to go down there right away. So if Litecoin is going to be a strong coin, what could happen is maybe we get this relief rally and then Bitcoin starts falling, Litecoin holds up, and then when Bitcoin starts bouncing, this comes down here, you know? And then you get the Litecoin halving rally. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened here. You could do the same thing, honestly. It's very possible that we're about to just do the same exact thing we did last time. I guess it would be something like this. You know? Because the halving is in like July, right? Which is right here. It's very possible. So it doesn't have to come down here right away. It could take a while. But just in general, you've never... I guess never is too strong of a word, but it's very improbable that you bottom on a wick. You always go back. Most of the time, you go back down. So... You know, I think there was very few times, like this was one of them, where you did bottom on a wick. You definitely did. Here you bottomed on a wick, but you still came down again. But again, I would argue, what if we do go back down? Like the point of a wick is like, usually you go back down there at some point. It's the same thing with CME gaps. Wicks are pretty much the crypto CME gap. You always go back most of the time. There are obviously instances where you never go back. Like this one was a wick, but there was another wick right next to it. Right? Here's another wick. You came back down again. It's just the nature of crypto. It's very rare that you put a wick in and then you just go up. Back in the old days, yeah, but we're not in the old days anymore. We're in the registered, we're in the regulated, what do you call it? We're in the regulated institution market now, where wicks, it's almost like whenever there's a wick, they send it back down there because they have to. Whereas in the past, you would have wicks and nobody would give a shit. But now you can see ever since 2018, I think this is fair. Almost ever since 2018, we always go back and fill the wick, which is why the futures came out back here was such a bad thing, because now it trades like an instrument. I mean, you could just see the difference in the structure with the wicks everywhere. And now we have like no wicks without going back to fill them. Which is why it's actually interesting That's why for me I wanted us to go down to 80K because that was the bottom of the Gaussian channel and there's no wick. So it's like we could just stay here for a little while. But the Bitcoin bottom of the bear market is almost never a wick. You know? Which again, the word wick is being thrown around too loosely right now, but obviously these were wicks, but we're talking about one of these puppies. Whenever you get one of these birthday candle wicks, that's how you know it's bearish. You didn't have that this time. But this I would agree is definitely a Bitcoin birthday wick, which we just never went back down there. And I don't think we'll ever go back down there. So they're there. It's just it's so rare that you bottom on a birthday wick. It just never happens. Again, you could argue obviously, yes, this is a birthday wick, but there's two of them. So if you zoom in on a smaller time frame, you can see you went back down there. You have 3 candles down here at 4,800. Which this is technically a birthday wick, but again, there's 2 of them. There was no wick here. It was a perfect close. So if I had to guess, the bottom next time will probably be a bunch of candles like this. But the thing is, we got to move up before February because when this 5-day Gaussian channel flashes red, it's night night. It's night night, Charlie. And you already got a red one on the 2-day, which doesn't mean anything because you got one here and you got one here. Which, by the way, that shit was bearish, dude. Look, 2-day was bearish. The 2-day here was bearish. I mean, the Gaussian channel is a legitimate indicator. Yeah, holy shit. Look, it turned red here, we crashed. It turned red here, we crashed. The Gaussian channel is legit, man. But if it's a bear market, it's going to stay red the whole time. Which is why if Bitcoin fails to reclaim the channel all the way up at 100,000 plus, this shit is going to be red. And that's why for me, if we're still down here in February, like you're going to legitimately have a red channel the size of a hot dog, which the hot dog is bearish. This is a giant Joey Chestnut hot dog. Where, what do they call that? Like Laffy Taffy, Airhead. Yeah, we'll call it the Airhead indicator. If you have a cherry Airhead this large, it's not going to be good because then the 3-day is going to turn red, which we don't have yet. But it will turn red because we're so far below it. Which again, the 3-day turning red isn't the biggest deal. But once you start getting up to the 4 and the 5-day, you start having problems. And then when it's the 5-day, it's over. So that's why the 5-day Gaussian channel is one of my indicators that I'm watching. Because once it prints red, it lets you know, all right, get out. Because we're going down. Like you're going down, down. Yeah, you're going down to the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the crypto abyss. And then when the weekly flashes red, you're already fucking dead. So we got some time though. I think the Moon Boys are going to be in control for the next 3 months. Maybe it's only 2 months. But that's good. If we bounce around like this and do nothing, then we know exactly where we are. Which I don't think, for me, it's not about losing money. It's about like, why am I losing money? And unfortunately, we had no idea where we are. Or where we were, because Bitcoin was bullish, but the old coins were still going down. Now, this is the first time where Bitcoin is actually bearish. So if we go up and make a new all-time high, then no one has any idea what's going on. Well, the bear people don't. But if we're still down here in December or January, not December, sorry. It's like now you're starting to get an idea of where you are. Because this is 85 days here. So if Bitcoin is not able to reclaim this level by February, you've now spent the same amount of time down here as every other bear market, which means it's GG's. So I do think for now the Moon Boys are in control, but for how long and how high, that's the question. Which is why for me, I think March is the deadline for all of this. Because if you think about it, the top was in October already and it's about to be December. So now we've been going down October, November. Which in the bear markets, you only go down for 2 to 3 months and then it turns bullish again. Right here, you went down for 1 month, you bounced. Or I guess you went down for, yeah, you went down for 1 month and then you bounced again. Then you went down again, then you bounced again. So it doesn't ever go straight down. We already went down for 2 months. So now we're due for a bullish month, which should be December. But it doesn't have to be. You don't have to have any bullish months, but I mean, look at this. You had two green candles and then it was just straight down. So it's like we could get a green December and a green January, and if we're still below 100K, then you're right here. Or even right here. Like it doesn't have to look like this. It could look like this. The reason why it's probably not going to look like this is because we went down 70% here. We're only down 35% right now. So you can't really bounce 70% unless it's a bull market. Because a 70% bounce would give you a new all-time high. I think it's over, but maybe a small bounce can make me a few bucks. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's crypto. You got to do what's best for you. There's people pushing bull narratives. There's people pushing bear narratives. I don't really care anymore. I'm slowly moving on and trying to move to the next play. Honestly, it's very difficult, but I think it's possible. But I mean, I can only show you what has always happened. I think for me, again, almost every bull market indicator is broken, which has always signaled it's a bear market. And even what's the word? Unique, I guess, indicators are starting to change trend. Which again, this heat map is not a bear or a bullish indicator. It's just a heat map. It just tells you if the market is cold or if the market is hot. If the market is hot, you're in a bull market. We've been hot since October of 2023. This is the first time since October of 2023 we have green candles. Which, even though it's a higher low. So people are arguing on Twitter, oh, it's a higher low, it's bullish. But the bull market is losing stamina. It's losing steam. So it's not bullish. And it's like, you're right. You're probably in here somewhere. But by the time you start printing blue candles, you're already going down. Which we're not at blue yet. I mean, we're not going to get blue for a while. But this is another indicator that's making lower lows, even though Bitcoin's making higher lows, which is bearish. It just paints a pretty picture for you. Which this is a really good indicator. We used this indicator last time. So, but you could just see, look, the blue on the bottom is starting to grow. So you got to think of the blue like a magnet. When you're deep in the bull run, there is no blue at all. Now the blue is starting to creep up because it's coming. You know, look at this. Look at this, dude. Look at 2017. There's no blue at all. There's nothing there. Maybe a pixel. And then you just went instantly insta bearish. In 2021, you had a blue here a little bit, then you had more blue, which it's probably hard to see on your little phone screen. That's why I'm trying to zoom in, but like you can see the blue is growing until it just gets engulfed. Then you're just in there, but by the time it gets engulfed, you're at the bottom of the ocean. So that's why for me, I'm pointing out like you can't really see it if you're on the phone, but this is making higher lows. Sorry, this is making higher highs. And you could just look at this, it's making lower lows, which means the next move down is probably going to be the engulfing of the ocean. Because you had a little, you can't really, there's really nothing here. You had a little one here, and then you had a big one here, and then you got engulfed. We had a little one here, a bigger one right now. We're probably going to bounce and then get engulfed. But by the time it's blue, the bear market's already pretty much done. Right? Like if you, like again, obviously June, the bear market wasn't over, but you went from 20K to 15K and that was it. In 2018, you turned blue in June. Well, again, in 2018, you turned blue right away. But no, you turned blue pretty much here. Like May, June. So you went from 6K down to 3K, which is 50%. But this one doesn't load. Oh, there, now you can see it. Yeah, it's actually better if I zoom out. Now you can see it, chat. Chat. See how the green, see how the blue's growing on the bottom? That, you gotta think of that like the tide. The tide is coming in, chat. That's what I'm gonna start saying. The tide is coming in. So if you don't have your life jacket, you better get one. The full moon is coming, anon. The full moon is coming, anon. You're saying bearish like Uncle Walker? Yeah, but Uncle Walker's too bearish, man. I'm just showing you what's... He's making predictions based on his charts. These are not my charts. These are universal charts. Like, everyone in their grand fish is using these indicators. I was going to say grandmother, but everyone says grandmother, and I'm trying not to say what everyone else says. Like everyone says, everyone in your grandmother. Everyone in your pet turtle is saying moving averages, which is good. That's why I'm not saying that we're bearish. I'm saying that the moving averages are saying that we're bearish because they say that we're always bearish, which means we're bearish. Ron Walker is saying we're bearish because he thinks it's too high and it's time to go down. But he's already moving the goalposts too, saying we were supposed to bottom in January and now we're going up for a new all-time high again. For the SPY. It's very possible that SPY just goes up. But for me, I'm just showing you nothing special. Everyone is showing you the same thing. But the thing is, just because everyone's showing it to you doesn't mean it's not going to work. Because half the people on YouTube and Twitter are still bullish. It's very true. There's just as many bullish people as bearish people. And that's, like, obviously if your algorithm is tied to bullish or bearish people, then that's what you'll see. But if I search Bitcoin bear market on YouTube, half the results are saying it's a trap. We're still bullish. And then they talk about QE. They talk about... the S&P making a new high, which if you notice, the S&P is making a new high, but Nvidia is not following it. Which it still could, but it's not. Which I believe that also happened in 2025, where January was the top for Nvidia, but SPY topped in February. But again, it is still early. Nvidia topped in here it is again, chat. Nvidia topped in November. But SPY topped in January. So that's something to point out, that SPY is pushing higher, but Nvidia is not. Which again, that is something that could change, but you don't want to assume just because SPY is moving up, that means that it's bullish, because that's not the case. The tide is coming. Yeah, I like that. The high tide is coming. That's going to be my slogan. The high tide is coming, Anon. The full moon is coming in March. Beware of the high tide. Christopher 10 says, have you seen silver lately? It's not a lot in the crypto world, but silver is massive. I wonder if Bitcoin follows, or if there are any past instances where silver took off and Bitcoin followed. I appreciate the 10, man. That's awesome. I actually have something that's a little bit bearish I'm going to share with you. I do appreciate the 10. So there is a Moonboy chart going around saying that Bitcoin is going to bottom because it's been in a bear market against gold for the last... Well, you actually asked about silver. How do you spell silver? Oh, that's why. So there's a lot of people posting Moonboy charts saying that the Bitcoin bull run's about to start because gold and silver are pumping. And you can see that Bitcoin is in a bear market already, which I think that that's bearish. I mean, just like, I mean, you could just see that this chart says that the bear market has already started. But the Moonboy charts are saying, or the Moonboys with their Moonboy charts are saying that the bull run's about to start because we've already been in a bear market for a year almost against gold and silver. Now, that tells me that gold and silver are about to crash, or at least fall faster than Bitcoin. Because you can see this bottom was 430 days, this bottom was 400 days, and then Bitcoin outperformed gold from there. But if Bitcoin is going down, it just means gold has to go down more than Bitcoin does. But we're not there yet. That's in March. Now let me talk to you like LA Knight. Yeah, let me talk to you. Everything we look at is pointing to February and March as the crash, potentially. If it's a bear market, we want to give the Moonboys the benefit of the doubt. But the thing about March is if you actually go to the previous bear market, I don't know if silver did it, but gold did. Yeah, silver made a lower high, but silver spiked up one last time and then it went straight down. Gold also spiked up one last time and then went straight down. So obviously it's different this time because gold is running. But it's possible that gold runs until March, because March is expected to be the capitulation for Bitcoin if it's a bear market. But the thing is, when gold tops like this, if it like falls pretty quickly. So if we fell by 20%, we would go all the way back down to 3,300. I think this was also, yeah, 20% pretty much. So it's very possible, and it's also possible that gold and silver go up forever. I'm not, listen, I'm not a metals guy. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know anything, I guess, but I'm not going to start acting like I know what's going on with silver. Maybe it goes to the moon. But that's just what happened last time. Like right when Bitcoin was going to capitulate, gold started crashing. And the same thing happened in 2018. Look, gold started crashing in May and then bottomed in November. Bitcoin started crashing in July and bottomed in November, December. So once the market gets so bearish where the market can't take it, everything just starts crashing. The same thing happened with the S&P 500 in 2018. The S&P 500 was so bullish the whole year, and then once Bitcoin said, I can't breathe, like Happy Goyim, maybe I shouldn't say that. Come on, nah, that's not funny. Anyway, once Bitcoin said, I can't breathe anymore, and it just took a shit, gold took a shit, the S&P took a shit, everything went down. So that could be what's happening again, where Bitcoin is bearish, but gold and silver do this. And then once Bitcoin gets so bearish to where it can't take it anymore, then gold starts pulling back. And then maybe the bull run starts again. Because again, I'm not going to pretend to know how the market cycles work for silver. I mean, this thing doesn't seem to have a market cycle. It was the same price for 10 years. So I would imagine you're in a 10-year accumulation phase. You'll probably get a 5-year bull run or whatever it is. So this bear market for silver might just be a correction before the next leg up happens. But in my opinion, when the market is so bearish to where everything is just suffocating, the whole global economy just sells off. But when that happens, the bottom is usually not that far away, which is why I'm keeping it very simple. And if Bitcoin enters a bear market and the S&P enters a bull market, that's fine. That's going to make people hold their crypto. But to me, I've sat through so many bear markets already that I know that even if Bitcoin is a bear market and SPY's in a bull market, at some point the S&P 500 has to come back to this red moving average. It happens every single time, forever. Forever and ever. Look. You had the first Bitcoin bear market, the S&P was at the 200 moving average. You had the second Bitcoin bear market, the S&P came down to the 200 moving average. Well, I guess technically you missed it by a hair, but you get the point. Third bear market, S&P comes down to the 200 moving average. Now we had the fourth bear market, S&P came down to the 200-week moving average. Now the S&P just came to the 200-week moving average, which is why it sucks, because there's a good chance the bottom is in forever, unless we get a COVID-like sell-off. Which is why, again, if the S&P does one of these, and this moving average climbs, by the time we get to October of 2026, the S&P could be at like 740 and go down 25% like it always does, and you're still making a higher low. Because on average, the bear markets for the S&P are 20 to 30%. So it's like the stocks win. The stocks always win. The stock people win again. The crypto bros get shafted. So, but that's the whole concept here is when we entered the capitulation for Bitcoin, the whole world capitulates. Like even in 2018, Bitcoin got so bearish in October and November, then the S&P just suffocated. And I think gold did, and gold and silver did as well. So to wrap up the soliloquy, yeah, silver actually started capitulating before Bitcoin. So I think if Bitcoin starts selling off really hard, I mean, you could just see it looking at silver. Yeah, oh man, yeah, you could definitely see it. Look, when Bitcoin starts getting to the point where it can't breathe, no justice, no peace, silver just starts taking a shit on the back of the bus. So it is different this time, I think, because it's in a big bull market, but I don't think it will change. Again, if Bitcoin is in a bull market, then, a bear market, even if silver and gold push up, if we get to March and Bitcoin still didn't break out, then silver will start to move down, because that always happens. Like when Bitcoin gets to the point where it's just so bearish, everything is just getting suffocated by the bearishness, the whole world just starts selling off. And that's usually when the DXY starts pumping hard, which we don't have that right now, but that would come in the future. Yeah, look, the DXY rallied here at the end. The DXY rallied here. Well, it actually rallied for another year. The DXY basically had its blow off top right here, which is why I also made a video a couple of weeks ago about the Gaussian channel, which right now the US dollar is actually getting rejected, which you could say is bullish, but if and when it pokes through, that is another signal that it's bearish. Because once it comes out the other side, I mean, the DXY is going to be at 105 by then. Bitcoin will probably be like 40,000. So I think you could have the bull markets in other markets, but cryptos, you got to remember too that crypto's small. It's like what, 3 trillion? That's nothing. So if it takes, I think at some point that everything will sync up again. But they usually always sync up at the end of a bear market. So whenever everything's in a bull market together, that's the start of the bull market. And when everything is bearish together, it's the end of the bear market. Or it's just a bear market. But I'm not going to come on here pretending to be an analyst because you get different data. But again, most of the time, when Bitcoin is in a bear market, the stock market goes up, which is very unfortunate because it's like no matter what we buy, it's just bearish. So it's almost like you have to buy stocks. So now what's going to happen is everyone is selling their crypto and they're going to buy stocks next time, which is why next time crypto could be a good play because, yeah, look, the dominance looks bullish again. Look at this dude. Dude, the dominance looks bullish again, chat, on the larger time frames. Oh no. Is the ETH rally canceled? Maybe it depends on the time frame. But it could be that maybe we do have to go up here. And then the next bull run is good for altcoins. Very possible. Very, very possible. Because Non-Ngoyan's in the chat. Like, Non-Ngoyan will vouch. This is very possible because of the Moonboy chart. So I think if you're a Moonboy, you want to see the dominance go up. Because at some point, Bitcoin is going to get too expensive and nobody's going to want to buy it. So they're going to start buying other shit like Ethereum and Solana and BNB. So I think if you're a Moonboy, you want to see this over the next 2 years. Because look, in 2017, you had a monster bull run. 2021, I wouldn't say it was a monster bull run, but it was obviously better than what we had. I'm becoming one with it all. I'm the future and I'm the past. Alt season is pretty much the point of crypto. I mean, for people like us, yeah. But listen, I think the better off we'll be, the faster we accept it. It's kind of hard to imagine that Ethereum doesn't make a new all-time high, but I mean, look, it barely made a new all-time high last time. And this was the best monetary policy you can have. Now it's really strict. And here's my thing. This is what I thought about last night. I'm like, bro, these coins were going down when Bitcoin was in a bull market. So think about that. All the coins that we talk about were bearish while Bitcoin was over all of the bull market indicators. Like, let's just really think about this out loud. If you say it out loud, it becomes so much easier to accept. All of the coins that I bought went to zero while Bitcoin was over every bull market indicator. Now that Bitcoin has broken every single bull market indicator, the coins that I want are going to go up. It just doesn't make any sense. That like Doge failed to make a new all-time high when Bitcoin was in a big bull market, and now that Bitcoin is signaling it could be entering a bear market, I expect Doge to make a new high. Why? Because everyone is saying it's bearish. Like if you just pretend that no one else exists, it becomes much more clear, which is why I think we fail so much, because we do everything as a group. Like not necessarily us, but us to an extent. That's why we suck, because we tell everyone, no, this is what we're going to do. And you get this mentality of, oh, well, everyone's doing it, so now it's not going to work. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, if I were sitting in a little room by myself with no viewers, nothing, and I just looked at this chart naked and I said every time Bitcoin breaks this green moving average, it's bearish, I would never buy it. But because now we have YouTubers and X accounts and traders, everyone's a genius. It's not bearish this time. I don't believe that, man. So I think it's gonna go quick, chat. It's already December. We've been bearish for 2 months already. Get through December, January, February, and you make it to the end. I think it's that simple. And that's why I'm not looking on the rocks for bullshit. You see? Even the super guppy, brother. The super guppy has now printed a gray line on the bottom. You have not had a gray line on the bottom since back here. We got the green arrow. Which I wanted to look at the EMA ribbon. They're all pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can pretty much see, man. It's done. Yeah, look, the white moving average is coming close to the bottom. You haven't had that since the bottom. Yeah. Look. You guys see the white moving average is moving down to the bottom now? It's not there yet. The 4-day is. Yeah, it's over, brother. Brother. Look. You're doing the same thing now. When the white moving average crosses to the bottom, it's a bear market, dude. Again, if you want to argue COVID, you can always argue COVID. But the reality is you still crashed by 50%. So it's always going to be, well, what if? So if we are in a bear market, if we're in a traditional bear market, that's important to preface, we should go like this. We might even go up to 104K, honestly. If it's a bull market, then you just saw the biggest bear trap in NBA history, and you'll probably get this. The top will be in February. But just because you draw this doesn't mean it's going to happen. Now would be the time for it to happen because the stock RSI is on the upswing. Which is why you shouldn't really be bearish here. Like if you're trading or whatever. But I think March, February is that time where if we're still not over 100,000, that's it. I think that's it, chat. Especially if MicroStrategy goes up. I guess MicroStrategy would go up to the red band, which is like 250, 270. Wow. Yo, could you imagine if MicroStrategy went back to 260? The Moon Boys would run wild saying, haha. But that's what happened back here. It rallied by 60%. So if we rallied by 60%, we would go all the way back to 275. But here's the thing, man. If you go to 275, now you can really crash. Because someone, and I pointed this out too, but someone on Twitter pointed out that the MNAV is falling, which is bearish. But I pointed that out in the Discord. I mean, nobody even cares about MicroStrategy. But, I mean, that alone just tells you that it's not bullish anymore. Because think about it. When it's peak bullish, it's the same thing when it's bearish and bullish. It's just reversed. When it's peak bullish, look at how high the MNAV was, which MNAV I think is just the value of the assets they're holding. Net asset value, I'm pretty sure. Look at the blue line. You see how high it was in November of 2024? That was the true top for most people. Most people's net worth peaked in November of 2024. Mine peaked in July, but I'm a Randino. It's different for everyone. But there's a very high chance your net worth peaked in either March of 2024 or November of 2024. Very few people actually peaked in October of 2026. Whatever the fucking year we're in now, I don't know. So the reason I say that is because from this moment, the MNAV has been falling. And now it's really capitulating, which means we're accelerating to the downside, which means the bottom should be not necessarily close, but you're obviously closer to the bottom than to the top. And if you go to 2022, the same thing happened. The net values peaked early in February and December, and then it was bearish from February of 2021. And it bottomed in June of 2022, where it went all the way down to 0.5. Actually, went all the way down to 0.47. So the question I want to know is, it went all the way to 2. Wow. So it went all the way to 2, and that marked the top. No, wait. No, it went to 3. So there was a 3x premium pretty much. Wow. What did it get to in 2021? I went to 3. Oh, it went to 3 again. Yeah, so it looks like the top for MicroStrategies when the premium hits 3 to 4. So this time it's possible the bottom is in again when it gets to 5. Sorry, 0.5. Right now it is at 0.86. So it's still got a little bit to go, chat. So the guy in the chat that keeps asking for $45 MicroStrategy, I don't even think that's possible. Because if we bounce from here, even if it goes to 270 and then it capitulates down here, this would be a 70% decline and you're still at $80. So I think like 70 to $100 for MicroStrategy is fair. Because if you measure it from the peak here, that's 87%. And this one was what? 90%? Yeah, that guy's dreaming, bro. $45 MicroStrategy. I don't think that's gonna happen. If Bitcoin goes to the 50 moving average like last cycle, alts will get a new move. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Because MicroStrategy did a 70% gain. I'm not saying MicroStrategy is going to do a 70% gain, but it would be like 60%, which is a lot. But here's the thing. If it's happening when it's supposed to happen, then it's bearish. Because if it's March or February and MicroStrategy's at 260 and Bitcoin is stuck below 103,000, that's what happens when it's a bear market. So if it happens, it's a bear market. It's just when we get up there, everyone turns bear, everyone turns into a moon boy, which is what happened last time. I was a big moon boy, but I was a big moon boy the whole time. Once we broke 104, for me, I accepted reality. And that's why I'm really glad we came down to 80,000 because I was kind of hesitant. I'm like, oh man, at 94, 95, I was like, oh man, should I buy back in? And I just remember saying, please just go down to 80,000 so we know it's over. And we went to 80,000. And the reason I say that is because you've never, chat, let me say this, you have never came down to this blue moving average and made a new all-time high. It's never happened. Not one time. Again, I could already see it before it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to be COVID. No, you can't even say COVID because you came down. You know, like when you come to this blue moving average, it's not even a bear market. The bear market is over by the time you come down here. It's just the bear markets are shrinking, so we're already down here. And that's why people, I think Mr. Cohen wants to see the 200-week moving average. I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to be there in April or May. And here's the thing. The 200-week moving average wasn't even the bottom last time. You actually fell significantly lower by 30%, brother. Brother, if we fell 30% from that moving average, we would be down at 40,000. That's what I think the bottom is, like 45,000. You actually broke the 20-week moving average a couple times. It's not what it once was. Yeah, even here. You fell by... Dude, this moving average is rubbish, man. Like, yeah, at a macro stance, you could argue it's the bottom, but you blow through it every time. 20%, 28%. This one you bottomed right on it. This one you went through it 28%. So it's like every time you go to the moving average, you actually break through it by 30%. So if the moving average is projected to go like this, and the bottom is in October, we'll probably be 30% lower than that, which is like 45,000, like somewhere in there. But it's just we got to get through these next 2 months. And again, I have to give the Moon Boys a hopium bone. If we end up breaking for the first time in NBA history, we break all the bull market moving averages and then we go up and make a new all-time high anyway, congratulations. You just bet against history and you won. But I can't tell you to do that when the data says that's not going to work. So, Moon Boys are in control for the next 2 months, I think. But if it's March and we're still below 100K, it's over. Taco Bell Lux Box. Taco Bell sucks, man. MSTR might go under 45 because they created 2 other stocks. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know, man. Trump should start making shit coins. What's up, Meowsis? Welcome to the middle of the live stream. Sure I didn't miss anything. Not really. I never really say anything useful. Just make sounds. Nihoy, mihoy, mihoy, hoy. MSTR. Major General Tao for 2 says the shoulder down off the bounce could be big. I appreciate it too. No, this is why I want to find where it is. Because it's the biggest move. If we bounce and get rejected, from that point is the largest move of the bear market. Here, you went down 64%. Here, you went down 62%. Here, you actually never even tested the moving average, so you can't even really look at it. So even if the bottom is moving higher each bear market, you can always move the same percentage. So if we go up to 104 and we get stuck, the move down should still be 64% or 60%. It might not happen in one stretch, but you got to remember that again, if it's April or let's just say it's March, now you have 7 months to go down. And if we just lollygag, you're not going to see that. Like, this was a really nasty move, but it still took 220 days. So if we top in March, 220 days later, the bottom is in again. I think even this one was the same. Yeah, it was 100. It's actually 130 days. So you can even move it back. Yeah, I'm telling you, Chad, if we're still in this peanut zone in March, run. Run as far away as you can. And it could be the case because again, this is an often overlooked. Maybe people are pointing it out. I don't watch anyone, so I don't know. But the move down is falling. This one was 52. This one was 36. The first one was 70. I know I already showed you that 100 times. So the bounce up is going to shrink. This one was 89%. This one was 42%. So this one might only be 20%. We're already up 15%, brother. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we might only get up to like 99,000. That's why, in my opinion, if we're still down here in March or February, that's it. We're getting ready. We're getting ready. People are looking for alt season on a Bitcoin bounce while their coins. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. If you say it out loud, it becomes easier. But I hope we get a 2-month alt season. Oh, that's where you said that, yeah. Is alt season impossible? Well, historically, you've never gotten an alt season when Bitcoin falls below the green moving average. So it's probably not likely, man. Unfortunately. This market sucks. Yeah, it's not the same market that we once had. Even the view, I mean, look at the video views. I'm looking at them right now. They're just declining. Everyone is leaving. It's not good. I wish I would have listened to my own pessimism. I used to always point out Bitcoin ETH went up while we got nothing. Yeah, I mean, the best thing we can do is just find a different way to try and make money, man. If the S&P tops a year after Bitcoin tops, then Bitcoin bottoms. No, the S&P doesn't top after a year after Bitcoin tops. The top for the S&P could be anywhere. When life gives you peanuts, you make peanut butter. But dude, like, it's still possible to escape. Man, Shiba is gonna break down. I can't believe it. Poor Matthew Dropco, dude. Is he gonna sell his Shiba or is he just gonna hold it? Is Mr. Dropco gonna sell his Shiba or is he gonna hold it to zero? Man, it's just, I can only imagine just like working your ass off, throwing your money in old coin. Like I did that I did that too, but I haven't actually physically done anything. But man, it's time, boys. We got to move on. The crypto gig isn't working out. I mean, even the people that bought the Bitcoin stocks did fuck all. Like, unless you bought the absolute bottom of the barrel, like you did well for 8x. And actually, listen. Let's not jump on crypto. Like, crypto sucks, but it's good for about 3 to 5 months. You just got to find that 3 to 5 month window. So, yeah. Luckily for us, it's whenever Bitcoin breaks the blue moving average. That seems to be what it is. So I wish there was an indicator that lets these like forecast. Yeah, it should be the summer. It should be here. So I would say altcoins are probably rubbish until October of 2027. So you'd probably have to buy them in like May or June. But the thing is, man, the coins that people are going to get rich on don't even exist right now. So there's almost no point. I mean, remember Polkadot? Oh my God, there's a wick all the way down to 50 cents. Like, and the thought process is Polkadot's a good coin. It's been out forever, but it's going to go to zero. Like, if you don't own the asset, you can see that it sucks. But if you're holding Polkadot, you look at the emblem, it looks cool, it gives you hope. Like, oh, this project is legit, man. This shit is sick. If Polkadot goes to 50 cents, I'm buying in. But dude, it's like EOS. I'm telling you, I remember EOS, man. Oh my God, it's going down again. It can't be, but it is. It can't be. Fucking A, Jared. Dude, EOS is going down again. It's over, boys. That's it. I can't believe EOS is going down again, man. EOS used to be $20. Now it's 10 cents. 20 cents. That's going to be Polkadot. I got a lot of bone. I've been buying the bottom. Yeah, just be careful, man. There's a good chance that Shiba Inu is going to break the low, in my opinion, which means bone is also going to break the low. Just be careful. All right. Trust me, I understand more than anyone. The crypto euphoria, Dogecoin, meme mania, bone to 1,000. Like, I get it. It's over. It's over. Now, at some point in 2027 or 2028, there will be another big euphoria moment. But then after that, it sucks again. And I think that is why the Cutler RSI is useful. The problem was, and the problem always is, whenever we actually look at the indicators, we start doing pretty good. But then when we go bullish, we just throw them out the window because we just expect it to be bullish, and it never is. But the indicators are very useful. Which I was looking at something yesterday. I'm going to try and find it. Yeah, it's coming back to me. I mean, you can even see here. Yeah, you can even see here. Look. You see how it came into the purple box and then it came into the purple box again and then the bottom was in? You came into the purple box and then you came into the purple box again and then the bottom formed? We're about to enter the purple box. Yo, I'm telling you, man, this shit's almost over. Like, I know it's not, but it is. You just got to get through January and February. If you make it through February, and we've been saying that since 2022, we just make it one more month. But what I'm saying is if you don't lose all your money by March, then you probably won't lose all your money. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about making money now. Now it's about not losing all of your money. So if you don't lose all your money by March and then you exit the market, you made it. You're not going to lose all your money. Maybe. We don't know. Subject to change on a case-by-case basis. But or for the Moon Boys at least, right? If we assume it's a bear market and you don't lose all your money by March, you should be fine. Because if it's a bull market, we should make a new all-time high by March or February, and then you're in, right, to the moon. But if it's March and this is starting to bleed in here, again, it signals the bottom is not coming, but the move down to the bottom is coming. Because this indicator has been bearish since February of 2024. Which if we look at this was 700 days to the bottom. I think we're way past that. Yeah, we're going to be way past that, man. This one was 4. Oh, it's growing though. This one was 392. This one was 427. This one was 690, 672. Actually, it was like 714. Yeah, so this is going to be like 900. Yeah. The good news is the bull run for the poor people like us is moving closer. The top is what sucks, but the rally from oversold to overbought is where you make all the money. And this started from the end of 2022. So this was 490 days. So 490 days from October. Yeah, that would be like the spring of 2028. Yeah. Which is still far away. I mean, that's 3 years. That's 2.5 years away, but it's not 4 years away. That's the point. But yeah, there's no hopium, Chad. Everything's bearish. Good luck. Good luck. Have fun. EOS rebranded to Volta. Did it? It's still, so they rebrand. Yeah, the rebrand is bearish, man. Phantom rebranded too. It's just bearish, bro. The rebrand is the most bearish thing you can see. Whenever a chain relaunches, it's bearish. It's always bearish, man. Because it's always bearish forever and ever. It is. Dude, crypto sucks, man. If you're not extracting liquidity from your viewers, then crypto sucks. Or if you're a perma bear. Or a Bitcoin buyer. Solana on the 1 week is too bullish. They just want more farming. Bro, that's definitely your best quote. You got to put that on a shirt. Your quote of the year, get farmed. Get farmed. Get farmed, bro. Dude, this is the most bearish chart. Solana has one of the most bearish charts in crypto, my brother. My brethren. Look at this head and shoulders, man. And I'm not a trader, so I can't even run around talking about chart patterns, but this is fucking bearish. This is bad. Oh my God, look at that. Dude, you're telling me we're about to get a big ass alt season? Look at that shit. Look at this dude. You're not buying that. If you're in David B's position and you're just chilling with a lot of money, you're not buying this, brother. If I'm David B, I feel no FOMO. I'm just chilling in my hot tub, waiting for the bear market to blow over. I'm taking 100K on Solana at 50. Yo, if I'm David B, dude, if I'm David B, I'm driving my Lexus down LA, downtown LA, just chilling in the palm trees. I'm putting a $2,000. I'm putting a 2,000 Solana buy order at $50, and I'm putting the rest in MicroStrategy at $80, and I'm just chilling. Call me David Strategy. It's gonna be called David Strategy. David Saylor. Downtown LA. Bitcoin Bajan for 5 says, I don't want to be exit liquidity. Can we look at a priori coin, ticker APR? I appreciate the 5, ticker APR. Holy shit. Brother, please tell me you're not holding this. Please. It looks like we already had this. Wait a minute. Yo, please tell me you got out of here, man. You send me money for super chats and then you don't even, like, listen. Tell me you got out of here, brother, please. Bitcoin Bajan, I need you to keep your money so you can keep the lights on. You're one of the big four horsemen. You can't be buying this shit, man. I thought it was gonna go up. Bro, but like, even if you sold it when it broke the low, you saved 40%. Yo, this thing broke no resistance. Dude, I need you. I need you. You're one of the four horsemen. I need you to stop. You can't buy any more shit coins, man. All right? This coin is probably going to go to 0. It should bounce at some point. This is another farm. It's another farm coin on Coinbase. They launched it in October and they farmed everyone. Don't add any more money to this, please. I'm begging you. We're going to assume that the coin will remain zero. We're going to, instead of saying bearish, we're going to say zero. This coin will remain on the path to zero as long as it remains below 21 cents. That means that if you ever see a spike to 21 cents, you must exit. Not financial advice. This coin is ultra bearish as long as it remains below 21 cents. Now, there is no guarantees that it's going to bounce. It may just continue its path to zero because at some point it has to come to zero. It's a farm coin. That's a good name. It's a farm coin. I really like that. I'm going to steal that. This is a farm coin. It launches at 70 cents. Everyone piles in and then it goes to zero. That's a farm. That's such a good one, man. Get farmed. Not you, but just in general. A farm coin. Yeah, this coin is going to zero, man. There's really nothing to say. Again, maybe if you get a lucky bounce off of the MI exit liquidity. I mean, if you never bought in, if you bought in at the top, then you're exit liquidity. But you're not considered exit liquidity because you didn't buy in when other people were selling. You must have bought in a long time ago. Which I guess at some point it is considered exit liquidity, but I can't even say that it's bearish. It's actually on the path to zero. So it's almost like you need to put a magnet down there. This magnet is going to suck this thing down as long as it's below 21 cents. If you end up getting a big bounce and it gets stuck at 26 cents, again, it's just bearish. You can only be bullish once it gets over 26 cents. Now, I know you don't want to sell the bottom, but the bottom is zero. So, if you sell now and it bounces, fine. If you don't sell and it goes to zero, fine. If it bounces, it's going to zero. So if you want to gamble on a bounce to 22 cents, that's entirely up to you. I do think over the coming months there should be a rally for Bitcoin, which everyone does, but there's no way of knowing how low this is going to go before Bitcoin goes up. So this is a farm coin. I can only ask for you to not financial advice, but stop buying crypto unless it's Bitcoin. Please. I understand. No one gets it more than me. You don't want to miss the bull run. You don't want to be left behind. But we're setting ourselves back further than we ever should, and that's what happened to me in 2023. So I don't want that to happen again, and I don't want that to happen to the viewers. But if you take your charts off of logarithmic, I mean, look, even here, look at the size of this wick, dude. We must come down here and fill this wick. You have to. There's a law that states when you have a large wick, you must go down and fill it. You must. You must go down and fill the wick. Look at the size of that fucking thing. Oh my god, I didn't even see that. Look at this dude. This fucking guy. Look at the size of that thing. Dude. I didn't realize it was that big. That was a Tyrone wick. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's the same thing as this. Even here, you had a big wick, but you came down and filled it. And only when it was no longer a wick did you go up. This was not a wick either. It was a candle. You must watch Ron Walker. Why? What did he say? Check the Discord. I got a new Lexus for my mom. Yeah, but can I show you on the stream? Yo, you're a young man, handsome young man. Yeah, I'm not gonna dox you. People can know where that is. That's a nice car, man. I guess I could do this actually. Yo, David B with the Lexus, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I screwed up, so I can't do anything. But it's good. You're in a good spot, man. I know you wish you could be in a better spot, but you're in a good spot. Listen, if I'm David B, man, just enjoy the rest of the year, enjoy the holidays, enjoy the spring, enjoy the summer, and you got a 2,000 buy order for Solana at 50 bucks, and you're buying 1,000 shares of MicroStrategy at 90 bucks. And the rest of the money you just invest in another duplex. And by the end of 2020, whatever, you'll be at like 800,000. Because your 2,000 Solana would be 5 or 600,000. And your 1,000 MicroStrategy would be maybe even 700 bucks, bro. And you leave and never come back. Dude, if I'm you, I would just leave, bro. I appreciate the support over the years, but genuinely, if I'm in your position, I'm just leaving. I'm leaving crypto. It's true, man. Like, you have enough money to make it next time, still. Because think about it, you just need a 10x, that's it. Which, we all just needed a 10x, but we looked in the wrong places. This is now the second market cycle MicroStrategy did over a 10x. And if you're not sure if MicroStrategy is going to do a 10x, they have one of these puppies. John Doe has it. There's a leverage thing. You could put half in there. If I'm you, I'm leaving, brother. Or even if you want to gamble on Pepe. Pepe should come down here. You could put 100K on Pepe. If it runs, you got 2 million. There you go. You have enough money to leave, man. You don't have to be here. I can buy 92 Soul. If you leave crypto now, you could be falling into the bear trap. The bear trap. February 14th. Oh, wait. Someone else sent me a super chat. Hugo sent me 5. I appreciate the 5, man. What did he say? He didn't say anything? Smokey the Bear didn't say anything. Or not Smokey the Bear, sorry. Smokey the Bear only comes here when it's bearish. Hugo for 5 says nothing. I don't see anything. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the 5, brother. Yeah, we're gonna get through this, chat. We're gonna. Even Nottingoyan says he has a lot of money left. Like, dude, he can get Solana at 40 bucks too, man. Like, you guys still have some money left over. Berto is in the chat. Welcome to the 75% mark of the live stream. Good evening, everyone. Literally was set, had soul, and fumbled it. Yeah, we all listen, chat. We all fumbled. Okay, it will haunt me for the rest of my life if I let it. I had the vision for my life. I literally had it. and I threw it all away. And now I have to start over. You can't go back and say, we messed up. Like, we know we all messed up. In another world, I'm already on the beach somewhere, but I'm not there. So we got to start over. Now, the beautiful way to look at it is I can start over. If you lose all of your money, you cannot do anything. So do not lose all of your money. That's the only rule. Not financial advice. Do not lose all of your money. But we all have the same regret. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda did this. Coulda did that. Wish I woulda did this. Blah, blah, blah. There's no escaping the past. But if you keep moving, it'll never catch you. That's a good quote. That is the good quote. That's my 2025 quote. There's no escaping the past. I don't even remember what I said. But if you keep moving, it'll never catch you. You'll never catch the future either. That's why you gotta live in the present. But you don't get haunted by the future. You get haunted by the past. And if you wait long enough, your future becomes your past. So don't let your past ruin your future. What are we going to do right now? This is what we're going to do right now. We're going to wait. Live your life. Okay? Do something else. Make sure you come to the stream for 2 hours a day. Save your money so you can send me super chats. But we just got to make it to March. Once we get to March, and if we're still on a bear, if we're still below these prices, then you know exactly where we are. So you have options. You can do nothing. You can watch. You can trade. Whatever you want to do. Then, if we're still down here in March, we'll know it's bearish. And you know the summer's always bearish. And then when the summer's over, it'll be October. The bottom is in. But here's the kicker, chat. Let me talk to you. Yeah, let me talk to you. You don't have to buy crypto, but we have to monitor crypto because crypto does tell us where we are. And I will say this, if we are still below $100,000 in March, then we will begin to move down to the bottom, and the bottom would be around Q4, September, October. I'm not going to act like I called anything or like I know anything. Maybe the bottom's in September, I don't know, but somewhere in there. But that's not the point of this soliloquy. The point of this soliloquy is when we begin our capitulation, there is a 100% probability, according to the data, that the S&P 500 will move down to the 200-week moving average. So when we're down there, you can choose to buy stocks. You can choose to buy Bitcoin. You want to see something sick? Chat, leave the stream right now if you don't want to throw up. You guys look at NVIDIA and you say, I wish I would have just bought NVIDIA. We all say that. Look at this shit. 12x, no pullback. You want to see something sick? Click off the stream before I show you. There was a 3x NVIDIA ETF. Look at this. Ready? Chat. 400x. That can't be possible because if it did a 12x, then it would be a 36x. So this is false because of the stock split. Chat, this thing did a 40x in 1 year. So maybe, right? Maybe the S&P. Listen, if I'm David B, I'm chilling right now, regardless. Taking my mom to the beach with the Lexus or whatever, right? Taking my mom to the beach in the new Lexus I bought her. Taking my girlfriend. David B has got a new girlfriend every week. If I'm David B, I'm not doing shit, bro. When Bitcoin capitulates, the S&P comes down to the 200-week moving average, I'm saying fuck it. And I'm putting 100K on a 3x NVIDIA ETF. Dude, David B is going to make it, bro. Do you know they have 3x ETF for everything? There's a meta one, too, I just found. Brother, look at this dude. Look at this dude. If you buy it at the 200-week moving average, it's just... Now, I'm not going to pretend... It's not going to do the same thing again, obviously. But you don't have to buy crypto anymore. Crypto sucks. It's fucking terrible. But you could do the same thing with MicroStrategy. If I'm David B, I'm taking my 100K. I'm buying... I don't think there's a 3x MSTR. There's only a 2x MSTR. Listen, if I'm David B, I'm going to live my life. And when Bitcoin hits, or excuse me, when the S&P hits a 200-week moving average and Bitcoin hits whatever, I'm taking 100K, I'm putting it on this 2x ETF, and I'm going to live my life. Because MicroStrategy does a 5x, which it will. Because let's be realistic here. Let's just say MSTR comes down to 80 bucks. And it does a 618 retracement. That's a 250% gain. So that means the 2x will do a 500% gain. So if I put 100K in there, I get 500,000. No pullback. Just boom. Now if it goes to the 786 retracement, now I got an 8x. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If I'm David B, I'm chilling, dude. I'm leaving this shithole. You don't have to be trapped here like me and Nanangoyan. Me and Nanangoyan are banished here forever. Why are people not talking about Algorand? D Well for 2 says, thoughts on ZBCN? ZBCN coming right up. Bearish. Yeah, someone in the chat had this coin. And it came right up to the 382 retracement. See, the thing is, man, nobody ever sells, and I get it too, because I don't sell either. Every time I make a chart for my coins, I say if it breaks the 382, I have to sell. It breaks the 382, and I don't sell, and then it goes to 0. But someone has this coin, and it hit the 382, and now it's going down. This coin is bearish. As long as ZBCN remains below 35, it is bearish. If it ends up holding between now and January and Bitcoin gets the big spike, you could go up to 46. But even at 46, it would still be bearish. So I would rather just sell it at the 382 and just be done. Which even now, you know, I would still sell it here. Because if it's going to fall on 30%, I'm saving 30%. But this coin is bearish as long as it's below 35, in my opinion. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to sell it. But if I had to guess the path of this coin, you can either go like this and then down, or it just goes down. This coin has been making lower highs since October, August, and May. Any break over 35 would confirm that a breakout has taken place. I appreciate the 2. Mr. 305. Chaos King says, what if altcoins decouple from Bitcoin and go up? That's a good question. What if they don't? What if they're about to go down 50%? What do you do then? What is your name again? I forget. I can't remember your name. Sang Healy? Michael Saylor's posting their chart again, chat. Knee high? I think it's knee high or something, right? Look, Michael Saylor's posting their chart, dude. When we break this green line, it's capitulation mode, which this is a little bit below 80,000. So once Bitcoin breaks 80,000, you know it's time to go down for the bottom. Look, you can even see his buying has stopped. Look. Dude, this guy, I mean, I'm a bottom and a top signal too, but this guy is literally a top and a bottom signal. Like, look at the little tiny ass bubbles here. But when everyone's euphoric, that's when he buys. And now we're down here and he's not buying. And then when we go down here, he's not going to buy at all. So it's like the more this guy buys, the more bearish it is. But once we break 80K, that's it. Straight down. Michael Saylor versus Michael Berry. So other D goes even lower. That's what it looks like. Yeah, there's a black hole down here. Why not? Why, like, if we really think about it, why does it have to go up? Because we want it to go up? Because it always goes up. Because it's always bearish. You could actually argue that the top is in forever, and we're just traveling inside of a downwards channel now. But we still, oh, I guess we just did hit the bottom of the channel. Why is BCH up today? That's a good question, man. That's a great question. Thank you for sharing. Next question. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Tether dominance is bullish, bearish. I mean, we're making a triple top. Bull run is coming in hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. You guys remember that song? They have decoupled and are down 60%. Great question. 4 out of 10. We had a decent amount of viewers today. We cracked 200. We were getting 300, but now it's 200. But I'll take whatever I can get. My fucking YouTube video just I can't even get 400 views now, man. It's bad. People are leaving left and right. I might have to start covering MSTR or something, I don't know. When will Bitcoin dominance drop? It might not. The Bitcoin dominance might go up to 70%. Some people were looking for that back in the day, but we didn't want to believe it. But it might be true. Because the 5-week chat, the 5-week stock RSI just crossed bullish. The last time that happened was here. You started an uptrend for God knows how long. So it's a reality. Dude, it's a reality. Stock RSI on the macro time frames is already bullish. Dude, yo, the dominance might go to 70%. Oh man. Yo, I think dude, I don't know. Good luck to you all. We're gonna make it through this, trust me. I can tell you this, and I said this last time. Think of all the negative ass times we've had in crypto. We made it through them all. 2018 was really bad. I made it through that. 2021 in the middle of the year was horrible. Made it through that. 2022, 2023, atrocious. Made it through that. The middle of 2024 was atrocious. Made it through that. Even the middle of 2025 was atrocious. And there was a window for me to escape that, and I didn't. So we're going to have a window to escape this as well. Now I need to really look at where I'm going to go with my life because I didn't think I would be in this position. And unfortunately, I had more than enough chances to not be in this position. But somewhere along the line, I keep making the same mistake. And that's why I keep ending up in the same spot. And the mistake is every time I make the money, I think the bull run's not over. But every time I make the money, the bull run is over. It's just the top keeps moving. Like in 2021, at the end of the year, I made all that money, and then I said to myself, well, Dogecoin never went up. Everything didn't go up, so the bull run's not over. Then I lost the money. This market cycle, we all made the money in 2024, and we're like, well, the top could be in Q1. And then we started crashing. But then the top wasn't in Q1, it was in Q4 anyway. But we still never went up for most of the market. So the lesson here is when you get the money, it's usually the top. Because that's what happens when you're a regular person like me or you. Whenever people like me or you have a lot of money, it's usually the top of people making money. And that seems to be changing. But we have to understand that it's changing. There will be another bull market. There's always another bull market because people will always buy forever and ever. But maybe we have to change the way we look at the market. Because you could argue if you would have just bought spot, like I hate to say this, but I think I said this yesterday. If you bought Bitcoin instead of the S&P 500, if you didn't buy the exact bottom, like you can't even hodl Bitcoin anymore. You're underperforming the S&P 500. So it's kind of like unless you buy the bottom or like somewhere early. But the thing is, you don't even get time to sell. With the S&P, you don't have to sell. you just hold it forever. Forever and ever. Why are you ignoring super chats? Did you send one? My bad. Sorry, happy-go-lucky. I didn't see your super chat, even though you sent it not even 5 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Happy-go-lucky for 2 says start covering ADA and the views should go up. I appreciate the 2. ADA is a dead coin, man. Oh my god. I actually haven't looked at ADA. ADA has the same exact chart as Dogecoin, my brother. My brother in Christ. Why would I cover ADA when Doge has the same chart? I appreciate your input, but I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do moving forward. I do. Like, I genuinely have to figure out what I'm going to do with my channel because the Dogecoin wagon is starting to fall off. I always wanted to be in the XRP clan. They never accepted me. But it's not looking good for anybody, man. Doge, ADA. It's bad. But I do appreciate the 2. Bitcoin Bajan for 5 says, I just wanted gains. but no alt season means I am toast. I appreciate the 5. Yeah, we're all toast because there was no alt season. But that doesn't mean you have to go to 0, man. There's a difference between being toast and being bankrupt. The Dogecoin blowhole? Yeah, it never exploded. They plastered over. That's a good one. We're all toast, man. But you don't have to go to 0. Because like I say all the time, the problem with DCA is you're losing money that you don't even have yet. Especially if you're DCAing into altcoins. Like, think about this. What if someone worked a construction job for 10 years, busting their ass, and they just continue to DCA Polkadot forever? Like, could you imagine that? And that's basically what I did and many people did. Obviously, I never worked in construction, but I look at my YouTube earnings, I look at my earnings from my old job, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I should have a lot of money. But I buy shit like this. Now, on the flip side, you'll have people come in here saying, well, that's why you're broke, because you buy shit coins. And then they'll recommend me a shit coin. They'll recommend me a shit coin. And they're under the impression that we're early for Bitcoin. Well, just buy Bitcoin, you're early. 7x is a lot if you bought the exact bottom. If you're buying Bitcoin now, you're going to get rinsed. And then you can buy Bitcoin, potentially. But even then, let's just say Bitcoin goes to 42,000. The top is probably going to be 160,000. That's only like a 3x. Which if you have a lot of money, a 3x is a lot of money. But if you don't have a lot of money, a 3x isn't really going to help that much. So it's kind of like crypto's dead now. Crypto's a dying industry, man. It is what it is. But for Mr. Bajan, I appreciate the 5. I need you to not lose all your money, brother, because you keep the light. You're one of the 4 horsemen that keep the lights on. So I can't have you buying these garbage ass coins like the one you bought before. This. All right, stay away from this. Does this coin just go down again? This is a farm coin, as Mr. Meow would say. The name's Meow, Mr. Meow. Mr. Meow would say this is a farm coin. Gets listed on Coinbase, everyone buys in, and then 10 days later it's at 0. Stay away from these. I would even say to you, Mr. Bajan, don't even deposit any more money. Not financial advice. But I appreciate the super chat, man. I need you. I need you to not add any more money, dude. No, not financial advice. But we should be able to leave it there for today. A nice stream today. We had a nice turnout. 200 viewers is nice. I'm not sure how much longer we'll get 200 viewers. Pretty soon people will begin to leave. But that's how it is in the bear market. I mean, my YouTube videos can't even pull 500 views now. It's bad. It's bad. It was supposed to go to $1. Listen, we have to change the way we look at investing, man. Altcoins are not the way. Because again, remember Avalanche? I loved Avalanche in 2021. Avalanche was actually the reason I lost all my money back here. Because I bought the Dogecoin on Avalanche, Shiba Vax, and it went to 0. And then AVAX went to 0. Now, if I would have bought the bottom on AVAX, but then you could go shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well, I did buy the bottom on Floki. Could have been a millionaire. But there's just too many moving parts. Oh, well, you got to buy this. You got to time the exact bottom. Like, that's the problem. You have to be perfect. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to just buy in and hold, not be perfect. If you have to be perfect anyway, you might as well just trade leverage. So the way we look at crypto is no more. I think Avalanche is gonna break the low, chat. I could see it. I think AVAX is gonna take out this low, man. That shit's going to $5. It's a wrap, dude. It's bad. Crypto is now salvaged. Crypto's done, man. Even Jasmy, the beloved Jasmy. Fucking rubbish, dude. It's so sad. But I'm not gonna come on here being sad. We're gonna get out of this, alright? The crypto glory days are over. But if we can accept it, then we can find another way out of here. So we'll leave it there for today. As always, how does Decentraland look? 0. 0. Yeah, it's actually about to go to 0, man. You broke the low. It's already selling off. Yeah, this coin's going to 0. I think it goes to 0. Fucking A, bro. Look at this guy. Look at this coin, man. Look at this dude. This was the final escape hatch before it's sealed shut forever. I bet you that's a 382 retracement too. Fucking A, Jared. That was the final escape hatch before its descent to 0. It's bearish, man. I say 0. Wall Street entering crypto ruined it. Yep. Alright, chat. We'll leave it there. As always, none of this is financial advice. I do appreciate the support. Appreciate the super chats, the members. We'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate the views. We're going to get through this one day at a time till the cows come home. But until then, we got to find a way to get out of here. So enjoy your day wherever you are. We'll be back tomorrow. None of this is financial advice. And bye.